problems of the Middle East will not be solved by the cold-blooded murder of American servicemen in Lebanon, nor by the murder of American civilians on a hijacked aircraft. Nor will the problems of Northern Ireland be solved by the assassin's gun or bomb. Garret FitzGerald and I, and our respective governments, are united in condemning terrorism. We recognize the differing traditions and identities of the two parts of the community of Northern Ireland, the nationalist and the unionist. We seek a political way forward acceptable to them both, which respects them both. So long as a majority of people of Northern Ireland wish to remain part of the United Kingdom, their wishes will be respected. If ever there were to be a majority in favour of change, then I believe that our Parliament would respond accordingly. But that is the principle of consent, enshrined in your Constitution and an essential part of ours. There's no disagreement on this principle between the United Kingdom government and the government of the Republic of Ireland. Indeed, the four constitutional nationalist parties of Ireland, North and South, who came together to issue the New Ireland Forum report, made clear that any new arrangements could only come about by consent. And I welcome, too, their outright condemnation and total rejection of terrorism and all its works. Be under no illusions about the Provisional IRA. They terrorize their own communities. They are the enemies of democracy and of freedom too. Don't just take my word for it. Ask the government of the Irish Republic, where it is an offence even to belong to that organisation, as indeed it also is in Northern Ireland. I recognise and appreciate the efforts which have been made by the administration and Congress alike to bring home this message to American citizens who may be misled into making contributions to seemingly innocuous groups. The fact is, that money is used to buy the deaths of Irishmen north and south of the border, and 70% of those killed by the IRA are Irishmen. And that money buys the killing and wounding even of American citizens visiting our country. Garret FitzGerald, and I salute him for the very brave thing he did yesterday in passing a special law to see that money did not get to the IRA. Garret FitzGerald and I will continue to consult together in the quest for stability and peace in Northern Ireland. And we hope we will have your continued support for our joint efforts to find a way forward. Distinguished members of Congress, our two countries have a common heritage as well as a common language. It is no mere figure of speech to say that many of your most enduring traditions, representative government, habeas corpus, trial by jury, a system of constitutional checks and balances, stem from our own small islands. But they are as much your lawful inheritance as ours. You did not borrow these traditions. You took them with you because they were already your own. Human progress is not automatic. Civilization has its ebbs and flows. But if we look at the history of the last 500 years, whether in the field of art, science, technology, religious tolerance, or in the practice of politics, the conscious inspiration of it all has been the belief and practice of freedom under law, freedom disciplined by morality, under a law perceived to be just. I cannot conclude this address without recalling words made immortal by your great President Abraham Lincoln in his second inaugural address, when he looked beyond an age when men fought and strove towards a more peaceful future, with malice toward none, with charity for all, with firmness in the right as God gives us to see the right. Let us strive on to finish the work we are in, to do all which may achieve and cherish a just and lasting peace among ourselves and with all nations. Members of Congress, may our two kindred nations go forward together, sharing Lincoln's vision, firm of purpose, strong in faith, warm of heart, as we approach the third millennium of the Christian era. Mr. Speaker, thank you.